In this powerful interview training lesson, I'm going to give you 10 fantastic tips that will help you get hired at every job interview you ever attend. Before I get started with those 10 powerful tips, if you want to get free access to my ultimate job interview mentoring program, click that link in the top right hand corner of the video at any time. This is a formidable resource. It will help you get hired at every job interview you ever attend. Okay, here's those 10 powerful tips that will help you beat the competition. Write these down.
Richard, how important are the first 30 seconds when someone walks into an interview room? And what can candidates do to make a strong first impression?
The first 30 seconds are absolutely crucial in a job interview. Did you know the hiring manager will form an opinion of the candidate within the first 7 seconds of meeting them? That is why a candidate must do the following things. They must smile as soon as they see the hiring manager, give them a firm handshake while looking them in the eyes, and also wait to be offered a seat. Don't sit down until the hiring manager says, "Please take a seat." This demonstrates good manners. What they should also do at the start of their interview is thank the hiring manager for them giving them the opportunity. They can say, "Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am super excited about the interview." Even if the candidate is nervous, saying thank you and saying they are excited about the opportunity will help get the interview off to a confident start. Also, just quickly, I strongly recommend the candidate practices their answer to the first question, "Tell me about yourself." This will help build confidence and also demonstrate to the hiring manager the candidate has good communication skills.
2 questions that really trip people up are: what are your strengths and what is your biggest weakness? What's the best way to answer them?
Yes, those are really difficult questions, and lots of candidates end up failing their interviews because they give weak answers. The first question, "What are your greatest strengths?" should be answered as follows. I strongly recommend the candidate reads the job description for the role before the interview, because it will give an indication as to the skills and strengths the hiring manager is looking for from the perfect candidate. So all the candidate has to do is match their skills and strengths with the requirements of the role. The second question, "What is your biggest weakness?" is slightly harder to answer. It's difficult because lots of candidates fall into the trap of saying, "I don't have any weaknesses because I am a perfectionist." That is a big mistake. The question is assessing honesty and self-awareness. You must say what your weakness is and what you are doing to improve on it. The best weaknesses to give, in my opinion, are public speaking, delegating, and struggling to say no to people.
Many employers now use competency or behavioural questions in interviews. What are they and how should someone approach them?
Competency or behavioural interview questions usually start with "Tell me about a time" or "Describe a situation." They assess competency against the job description. For example, if there is a requirement in the job role for the candidate to deliver excellent customer service, the question will be, "Tell me about a time when you delivered excellent customer service." Another example is if there is a requirement to work as part of a team in the role, the behavioural question will be, "Describe a situation when you worked as part of a team." You must give a specific situation you have been in previously where you met the competency being assessed. Now, the best way to answer competency and behavioural interview questions is to use the STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. You begin your response by telling the hiring manager the situation you were in. You then move on and briefly outline the task that needed your attention. You then give in-depth details of the action you took before finishing your answer with the result.
Online and video interviews have become much more common. What advice do you have for people who struggle to perform well in a virtual interview?
The vast majority of job interviews nowadays are online. They are called virtual interviews. You need to go onto a laptop, smartphone or computer to undertake the interview. Let me give you several brilliant tips. The first tip is to make sure you are familiar with the platform the interview will be held on. For example, if it is going to be conducted on Zoom, make sure you download Zoom the day before the interview and get familiar with the platform. You should also make sure you download the latest software update for the platform. So make sure you get familiar with the platform. Also, make sure your background looks professional, because if the hiring manager sees a cluttered background, it might tell them you don't have high standards. And finally, this is the best tip I can give for online and virtual interviews, is to make sure you conduct a mock interview beforehand. Practice a mock interview with a real hiring manager. I also have some really good news. If anyone wants to conduct a practice online mock interview, they can click that link in the top right hand corner of the video at any time and go through to my website, passmyinterview.com.
Lots of people suffer from interview nerves, even experienced professionals. What techniques can help calm those nerves before and during the interview?
There is absolutely no need for a candidate to be nervous. I will explain why. A job interview is simply a meeting between the candidate and the hiring manager to find out whether the candidate is suitable for the job and also whether the candidate wants to actually work for the company. It is just a meeting. So I recommend the candidate starts to shift their mindset and look at it as a meeting. They should also look at a job interview as the opportunity to learn something new. They will get to learn about job interviews and how the process goes. The best tip, the biggest tip I can give to anyone who gets nervous is to start telling yourself that you are actually excited about the job interview. Tell yourself you're excited and also tell other people you are excited about the interview. This will shift your mindset from being nervous into someone who wants to perform to the best of their abilities.
If someone has gaps in their employment history, how should they explain them in an interview without sounding negative?
The most effective way to explain a career gap in an interview is to tell the hiring manager that either the candidate or someone else benefited from the career gap. What do I mean? Let's assume the candidate went travelling. They can say this: my career gap is because I wanted to go travelling to experience different cultures, different languages and different ways of living. I have now finished my travels, but the experience made me a more patient and tolerable person. You can see how by explaining to the hiring manager that the candidate or someone else benefited from the career gap is a positive thing.
When an interviewer asks about salary expectations, what's the best way to answer without pricing yourself out of the job?
Before a job interview, I recommend the candidate researches the salary range for their job role and industry. They can do that on the website glassdoor.com. I recommend they have two figures in mind. The first figure is the actual salary they are going to ask for in the interview. The second figure is the absolute lowest they are prepared to work for. Remember, it is a salary negotiation. It has to work for the employer as well as the candidate. If the candidate wants to see me give the perfect answer to the question, what are your salary expectations, in a real interview, they can click that link at any time.
When the interview is coming to an end, is there something powerful a candidate can say or do to leave a lasting impression?
There is something really powerful a candidate can say at the end of their interview. It is this: I just want to say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity today. I have thoroughly enjoyed the process and learning more about your company. The interview experience has made me even more determined to work for your company. I just want to also say that I have created a 30-day smart work plan that tells you what I will do in the role once I start work for the company, and I would like to leave this document with you so you can read it. That is a great thing to say at the end of an interview. It is positive, respectful, and it also tells the hiring manager the candidate is prepared and organised. If anyone wants to download my ready-made 30-day smart work plans that they can use at their interview, they can click that link and go through to my website, passmyinterview.com.
Some candidates worry they don't have enough experience. How can they convince the hiring manager they still deserve the job?
If the candidate has no previous work experience, I think this can work to their advantage. In their job interview, they should say something like this: although I don't yet have any work experience, I am hungry to learn, I want to do a great job for you, and I also want to build a successful career in this industry. I am a blank canvas. I am someone you can train up to be the perfect employee. Say that if you have no work experience, and your chances of getting hired will skyrocket.
Finally, Richard, if you could give someone just one piece of advice for preparing for a job interview, what would it be?
The best piece of advice I can give someone who is going along to a job interview is this: believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you won't get hired. Go into the interview with confidence. How do you do that? Well, you must make sure you prepare answers to the most common interview questions. Even better still, practice that mock interview before you go along to the real thing. Trust me, if you practice a mock interview and you get to tweak and amend your answers so they are strong, you are more likely to get hired. Okay, so there you have it. 10 super powerful tips that will help you get hired. The next thing to do is make sure you click that link right now in the top right hand corner of the video. Go through to my website, passmyinterview.com, and you can get free instant access to my brilliant job interview mentoring program. This is an incredible resource. It will help you become a master at passing job interviews. You can get free access right now by either clicking that link or the link in the top comment below the video. I look forward to seeing you on the program.